Hey everybody, welcome to our Ranch Adventures. Today we are going to show you how to change the oil in your portable generator. Hi everybody, welcome back to our Ranch Adventures. Today we're going to do something a little bit different than normal. Here in the southeast Texas area, we just went through a Hurricane Beryl, where a lot of this area was without power for 7 days. That's what we were without power. There are actually still people that don't have power. So we survived using a generator. And a lot of people didn't really realize this until after the hurricane or during the hurricane, that there's a lot of people out there that have never been around generators and don't understand the maintenance. And these things have to have regular oil changes, and you'll have to check your owner's manual for each generator to see what that recommended interval is. But this one is past its recommended oil change, and this is actually the one that we use at the cabin. So we're going to go ahead and show you how to do an oil change on this Furman unit, and it's pretty simple. Really only a few things you need. You're going to need a container to put your used motor oil in. You are going to need a wrench to take the plug out, and you're going to need some motor oil. Now this is Super Tech from Walmart. This isn't my first choice of motor oil to use. However, with all the people that are running generators or were running generators, motor oil has been hard to find in this area. So for now, this is what I'm going to use, and then I'll probably put a better grade oil in it. It kind of bump up that oil change for the next one. But the first thing I'm going to do is take my container, and I've got this up on blocks to make it easier. Right here underneath my oil fill, you can see this hex plug right here on this generator. That's where you drain the oil. And I'm just going to take an end wrench. This happens to be a 15 millimeter, and we're going to see if we can break this loose. They don't make it easy to get to for sure. Yeah, let me try a different angle here. There we go. There we go, we're coming loose. Now, one thing I failed to mention earlier is I did start this generator up and run it for a few minutes in order to heat the oil up a little bit. That should make it drain a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the plug here. All right, there was a little washer on there that I dropped. We'll grab that here in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. There we go. Now we got a good flow coming out. See, that oil's fairly dark, so it was definitely time to change this. So we're going to give this a few minutes and let this oil drain out of the engine, and then we'll show you how to fill it up with oil. While I'm waiting for that to go ahead and finish dripping out, I'm going to go ahead and wipe the plug off because I set it on the ground. You want to make sure to keep all this really clean and not introduce any contaminants into the engine. So I'm just going to wipe that off, set it aside. I pulled that washer out of there. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside where it's clean. Kind of clean off around this opening here. We're pretty good there. It's just a little bit of a drip. So most of the oil is out of there. Now I'm going to take this plug and be sure not to cross thread it. So make sure the threads are started. It should go in easily. We're going to tighten that up finger tight. Okay, and then I'm going to use my wrench here. I'm just going to give it a little bump, and again, it's not real convenient to get to, but you want to make sure it's snug, but don't over tighten it. So there we go. I'll wipe off any residue that was under there. And now we are going to add the motor oil. And what you want to do on the motor oil is you're going to have to look at your manual, but if you don't have your manual or you're not sure how much it takes, you're going to have to use the dipstick. You can use your dipstick to see how much oil needs to be in there. If you can see on here, there's a high mark and a low mark. We're going to clean all the dirt off of this too. Just make sure it's good and clean. All right, now most of these generators take, you know, they vary like I said, but most of them will take about a quart. So the other thing that you're going to need is a funnel. And this one came with one of my generators. So you insert your funnel in the same hole that your dipstick goes in. And we're just going to open up the oil here. So you can see that oil's nice in a golden color, and the other stuff that came out of it was a brownish blackish color. Gonna pull this out and set it down. We're just gonna check with the dipstick, and you don't screw it in on this generator to check it. And you can see it didn't touch any oil there, so we are not full enough. We're just going to go ahead and check this again so we don't overfill it. All right, so I don't know if you can see there, but we are barely on the dipstick there, so we are almost full. We're going to go ahead and top that off with a little more. Alright, we are just a hair short of the full mark, so I'm just going to add just a drop more. Alright, and as you can see that we're right on the full mark there. So now we are just going to screw our plug back on, our dipstick I mean. Not holding my mouth right, there we go. So that's all there is to changing the oil in this little Furman generator and most portable generator units. Now the only thing that really left to do is clean up our mess from the oil change, but there's a couple other things if you're going to store your generator for a while or until the next storm, is gas tends to have a tendency to gum up in the carburetor. And on this particular generator, we're fixing to take it out to our weekend property, and it gets ran almost every weekend. So I'm not going to be doing that to the gas on this. The best thing that you can do is shut the fuel valve off on this particular generator. It's marked here. Shut that off with the engine running, let it run out of fuel. And then once it's out of fuel, the engine will actually die. Now that doesn't mean that all the fuel is evacuated from the carburetor. So what you would want to do is come to your carburetor, which is usually right behind your air filter, and there's going to be a little drain screw here. Remove that and let the rest of the fuel run out of that, just to make sure there's no residual fuel that can gum up and prevent you from being able to use your generator the next time you need it. So the other thing you want to do is put fuel stabilizer in the fuel tank. That'll make your fuel last longer and stay fresher for a longer period of time. Start up your generator on a monthly basis, set up a schedule, let it run for 15-20 minutes, shut it down and put it away. And keep up with those oil changes. We have another generator that recommends the oil is changed every 25 hours. I've seen them where they're recommended every 50. This one's actually recommended every 100 from what I've read. So stay on top of your maintenance schedule based on what your manual says. If you like this content, please smash that like button and subscribe. And as always, go have an adventure of your own. Thanks for watching.